Tere.
Servus.
Marhaba.
Hola. Hello.
I'm inspired that there's so many people working to accomplish the same goal of creating a connected future. By having students lead clubs on campus directly supported by Google developers, that's the best way to reach out to students.
It's really inspirational always to hear about members of the community who echo your values and echo your beliefs.
I've been listening more than I've been speaking, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because I'm just getting all these ideas.
Google, it needs to reach a wider audience and be more relatable as a company, and I think Google is one of the brands that is very good at doing that.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Cloud Hero workshop. Make sure you have your laptop charged and you have your water bottle filled. We're going to get started. So hi everyone, my name's Lanting. I am the Developer Student Clubs lead at Penn. After the workshop, we'll be answering any questions on how you can become involved in the DSC Club at Penn. Furthermore, I'd like to introduce the Googler that will be leading this workshop with us today. Please help me welcome Ryan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan Matsumoto. I'm a developer advocate at Google, based in the San Francisco office. And welcome to Cloud Hero. We're super excited to have you today. And we're going to introduce you to Google Cloud and all the amazing things you can do with our solutions and products.
This is our agenda for today. We're going to learn more about how to play Cloud Hero and why we want to play it. We'll hear from Ryan about some relevant cloud solutions and what the possibilities are in using them. Then we'll move on to how to play the game and getting set up for the first lab. We'll close out the workshop with pro tips that'll assist you in completing the other 3 labs and have a quick Q&A. So cloud computing can be a confusing term, but at the most basic level, it means that we're getting things done using someone else's computers. Google Cloud Platform allows us to use Google's computing infrastructure to help us run our applications more efficiently. So what is Google Cloud? It's a suite of secure storage, innovative ML, powerful compute, and integrated data analytics products and services. Some services that you might have heard of are Kubernetes, Dialogflow, the Google Maps API, TensorFlow, Firebase, etc. We're going to use an interactive game called Cloud Hero to help you learn about Google Cloud technologies in a hands-on way with access to the Google Cloud Platform for free. Okay, so what is Cloud Hero? Cloud Hero is a virtual hands-on training event using the game functionality on Quicklabs. Quicklabs is a hands-on cloud training platform that helps you gain skills through interactive learning in a fun and competitive environment. So you can earn badges for completing quests and move on to the next level as you do. With Cloud Hero, you can compete against one another in gamified labs by using the Google Cloud skills you learned. This starts you off on a journey of learning new skills and getting certified for your Google Cloud development skills. Today's Cloud Hero is focused on learning the big data and machine learning tools that Google Cloud provides with BigQuery. During our live event, we'll go over BigQuery quick start command line together, which is the first blue circle you see here on the slide. And you will have access to this Cloud Hero for up to 1 week after our event. So you can continue to work on the remaining 3 labs afterwards. Make sure you complete the labs in this correct order because each lab builds on the previous one. If you're interested in learning more about the various Google Cloud services, you can visit the Higher Education Learning Center from Google Cloud. There's a lot of resources out there for you to learn cloud technologies. And so how do you get started? Well, you can get started by participating in workshops like this Cloud Hero workshop, along with other labs within the Learning Center from Google Cloud. You can earn skill badges for each quest you complete in the labs, and you can add them to your social media profiles. I'm sure everyone is wondering, what are skill badges and why do we care about them? Well, skill badges are gained by completing a series of hands-on labs, including a final assessment challenge lab to test your skills and earn a Google Cloud skill badge to share with your network. A challenge lab is a scenario-based lab where you have to take the steps to complete the tasks without instructions. You rely on what you've previously learned. Here's a brief overview of the multiple skill badges you can potentially earn. This Cloud Hero will be step 1 of gaining the Data, Machine Learning, and AI badge, as you can see on the screen. Completing the remaining 3 labs in the Cloud Hero game will gain you a Cloud Hero skill badge that starts your path. So, where can this take you? Well, skill badges help you practice and train for preparing and taking the Associate Cloud Engineer certification. Isn't that super cool? Especially given now that everyone's looking for internships, it would be a nice thing you can put on LinkedIn or on your resume. So now I'm going to transition to Ryan for him to take you guys through the data and ML introduction.
Awesome. Thanks, Lanting. So now we're going to talk a bit more about data and machine learning on Google Cloud. So here's a photo of one of Google's many data centers all around the world. So this data center is in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And these data centers house all the compute, storage, and networking capabilities that help to run Google products that you know and love to use. So things like Gmail, Google Photos, Google Drive, stuff like that. It all runs on these data centers. And in recent years, Google has applied its massive computing scale to something called cloud computing, basically sharing these resources with developers like yourself who want to run and build applications on Google's computing infrastructure. So when you use Google Cloud, you're essentially using a small slice of one of these data centers to help power your applications. So Google Cloud Platform is a suite of developer products that help you build amazing applications using Google's computing power. They use the same technology that powers Google products like Search, Inbox, and Google Translate. And here's just a small sampling of Google Cloud products. We have dozens and dozens of them. And they're broken up into several different categories like compute, big data, machine learning, and storage and databases. We would be here for several days if I were to talk about all these products. So we're just going to focus on these today in the big data and machine learning sections. So let's talk a bit more about machine learning on Google Cloud. Let's consider this example problem of trying to distinguish between photos of puppies and photos of muffins. So one really simple way to go about this would be to just write a simple program with simple rules. So maybe we look at each photo and say that if it has eyes in the photo, then it's a photo of a puppy. And if it does not have eyes, it's a photo of a muffin. But sometimes this is not going to be so easy. So now our rule for looking for eyes doesn't work because we have those blueberry muffins and the blueberries look like eyes. So this shows us that using hard-coded rules only goes so far in helping us to classify these images. And we're going to need something a bit more complex to solve this problem. Another example problem to take a look at is this sentence. The brown quick fox jumps over the lazy dog. So you might notice that there's something special about this sentence, and that's that it has every single letter of the English alphabet from A to Z. But you might have also noticed that there's something wrong about the sentence. It sounds a little off. And that's because instead of the brown quick fox, it should actually be the quick brown fox. So why is this the case? The reason for this is that we have these syntax rules for adjective order in English, where we have 8 different types of adjectives, and they're supposed to be ordered in this order, from quantity or number to purpose or qualifier. So chances are you didn't actually know these syntax rules explicitly. And instead what happened is that you just sort of knew that the original sentence sounded off. And the reason for this is that you actually do know these syntax rules for adjective order, but you know them sort of subconsciously. And the reason for that is that you learned them over time by either hearing people talk or reading books and observing those patterns. And by gaining this experience, by observing what happens in everyday life, eventually you learn these syntax rules and internalize them without ever having to memorize them explicitly. So this whole idea is that you're learning via experience by observing patterns. And that's very similar to what machine learning is. So machine learning is learning from rules plus experience, where we learn by observing data over time. So here's a nice diagram showing how machine learning differs from classical programming. With classical programming, you take data and rules as the input, and your output is the answers. But with machine learning, your input is the data and the answers for that data, and you sort of work backwards, and you figure out what the rules are. And then with the rules, then you can apply that to new pieces of data to evaluate it. So what is machine learning? One definition from the IEEE is that machine learning is the study of computer algorithms that improve automatically through experience. Another definition from one of our colleagues at Google is that machine learning is using data to answer questions. So with machine learning, there's generally a three-phase process. The first phase is data collection, the second phase is model generation, and the third phase is prediction. So with machine learning, we take the training data, use it to create a predictive model, and then use that predictive model to predict future results. And as our model takes in more data over time, it can generate more accurate predictions because it's learning as we go along. So machine learning teaches a computer to make repeated decisions using standard algorithms and lots of data. So the data is the key here, where we use the data to help better inform our machine learning model and improve it over time. So machine learning is used a lot at Google for Google products. One example is Google Photos. So one of my favorite features of Google Photos is the keyword search, where you can search for all the photos in your collection that are photos of dogs, and then all these dog photos will show up. And what's cool here is that the owner of these photos never had to manually tag these photos as photos of dogs. What's happening instead is that Google Photos is automatically determining whether or not there's a dog in each photo by using machine learning vision technology. And the way Google does this is by training on billions and billions of images as its training data. And it observes the patterns in those images and uses that data to help inform the model moving forward. Another example is with the Google Home. So you can ask the Google Home to do things for you, like turn off the lights or play your favorite song. And in order for the Google Home to actually understand what you're saying to it, it has to do speech-to-text transcription. And that process of speech-to-text transcription is one that is solved using machine learning. And another example is with the Google Translate app. So you can hold up your phone to a street sign in a foreign language and translate it to a language of your choice. And what's awesome here is it actually transposes an image of the translated street sign directly onto your phone. So really helpful if you're trying to navigate your way around a foreign country. Accurate translation is a really challenging problem to solve, but with machine learning, Google can do this really well. So one of the big challenges with artificial intelligence and machine learning is the difficulty level. So with Google Cloud, one of our main goals is to empower more users to help use artificial intelligence in their applications, regardless of their experience level. We want to democratize AI by making it easy, fast, and useful for all developers and users. So let's take a look at this video. So this shows how a group of students in LA use machine learning to solve a societal problem related to potholes.
My name is Alejandra,
And I'm Erickson.
and we're using machine learning to find potholes on the streets of Los Angeles.
LA has over 7,400 miles of roads and freeways.
That's a lot of roads and a lot of potholes to fix.
Right now, construction workers have to manually inspect roads for dangerous potholes and cracks, or rely on people calling in tips, which takes a lot of time.
While studying at LMU, we started to see if we could figure out a faster way to identify potholes throughout the city.
First, we needed data. So we rigged a camera to a car and we drove around to capture footage of different roads and freeways.
Then, we used TensorFlow, Google's open-source machine learning tool, to develop a model that could quickly identify potholes, road cracks, and other weird stuff with a high rate of accuracy. Which means workers can spend less time finding potholes and more time fixing them.
Awesome. So now we're going to turn it back over to Lan Ting, and she'll guide us through our Quicklab.
Yeah, so thank you, Ryan, for the awesome presentation on the cool things that ML and AI can do. Now we're going to get into the Cloud Hero game that is actually going to give you guys hands-on exposure to using the Google Cloud Platform tools. So to get started, you need to open an incognito window because Cloud Hero provides you with a set of login credentials that actually gives you the free credit. So you don't want to log in using your personal Google account that might be tied to the current browser you're using. So make sure to use incognito. And you can join or sign into Quicklabs through this link here. It's going to be dropped in the chat later. And once you log in, you have the option of changing the language by going to My Account and clicking on the language setting. Afterwards, you can also change your username. So make sure you use a name that is identifiable so that if you score top 50 within the people that are competing, we can actually find you and email you your swag. And this is the game link that we're going to be using today, and this is your access code. It's also going to be dropped into the chat, so don't panic. And once you log in, you'll see a prompt that looks like this. You can copy the game link into the pop-up window, the access code into the pop-up window, and this will give you credentials so that you can play the game. And this is what you should see after you enter the access code. If you scroll down, you can be able to access the labs. And the game has 4 labs in total. Each lab is kind of like an interactive section where you can go to the Google Clouds platform and follow the instructions to do different things and learn from them, hopefully. And for each lab, you're going to see something that looks like what we have up here. You're going to see a Start Lab button with a countdown. So once you click Start Lab, you can choose an account that you want to log in with. Make sure you always choose Use Another Account, and then paste in the IDs and password that we provide you. Don't use your personal account. And once you click Start Lab, the countdown timer is going to start counting down, and you need to complete the tasks within the time allotted. And after you finish, make sure to always click End Lab so we know that you completed this task and so that we can give you credit to complete further labs. All right, so now we are going to go through a live demo. I am going to walk through a lab so that you guys can see what it looks like. And so, yeah. So once I'm in here, I click Join this game, and it prompts me to enter the access code. Like we said before, I'm going to type in 2F EDUCR pen, which is our access code for this Cloud Hero game. It's taking a while to join. Give it a sec. It might be that many people are logging in. Okay, so my player name looks like this. I'm just going to put in my name. Make sure you have an appropriate name here. I'm guessing that a lot of people are logging in right now. It's really, really slow. Okay, so we're in, and this is the screen that you'll see. We have data and ML with BigQuery, and if you scroll down here, you can see 4 labs that we can do in this Cloud Hero game. So we're going to start with the first lab. So quick start command line. And So now you can take a look at the overview. We're going to be using BigQuery, which is a serverless, highly scalable cloud data warehouse that solves this problem by enabling super fast SQL queries using the processing power of Google's infrastructure. Super complicated, so they have all these helpful links that you can take a look at if you're confused about all these terms. And these are the setup requirements. So now you can take a look at the instructions here. So we're going to click Start Lab like they tell us to. And I'm not a robot. Oh, okay. This is fun. Traffic lights. Okay. All right, we're in. So you can see this Open Google Console button here. I'm going to click this. It's going to take me to a new tab that asks me to sign in. Very important. Use another account here. And after you click Use Another Account, we're going to paste in the username that it gives you here. It's an auto-generated username specific for this lab. Click Next. And then come back here to copy the password. Same thing, auto-generated password specific for this lab. Paste it in, and then accept terms and condition, like you always have to. And you can just click confirm. You don't need to protect your account, given that you probably won't be accessing this after this lab. So now you have an account on the Google Cloud platform. Okay, so once you get in, this is what you're going to see, a lot of complicated stuff. So let's navigate. Oops, okay, agree. Let's navigate back to this Quicklabs page. You can see the instructions that I just walked through were right here. So if you ever get confused, you can always come back. So one thing to note is that you can see this thing that kind of looks like an ID here. Make sure that this string of numbers and letters matches your Google Cloud Platform project ID here in your BigQuery page. And if we take a look at this platform right here, there's a navigation tab that you can open. You can see all the kinds of services that Google Cloud Platform has. And we're going to be focused on the BigQuery one today. So as the instructions say, we can activate Cloud Shell. So if you go to the upper right-hand corner here, there's a little icon that looks like the terminal you'll see on your laptop. Click it, and you will see a little Cloud Shell window here. Continue. Okay, it's still connecting. So it's basically kind of like the terminal on the Google Cloud's platform. You can type in commands here to interact with the shell. Okay, while we're waiting, let's navigate back and see what we can do next. So you can see this picture here gives you a preview of what you're going to see after it finishes loading. And yeah, let's take a look. All right, cool. We are in the shell. So let's go back, and it says, all right, so here we're actually starting to learn. So first command, GC Cloud, is the command line tool for Google Cloud. So you can list the active account name with this command. So what I can do is I can click this upper right-hand corner to copy the command here and come back to this shell and paste that command in, press enter, and it's going to show a bunch of stuff that looks super complicated. What does this mean? Let's come back. And oh, here, it tells you this is the output that you should see. You can see credentialed accounts and the example output. And it tells you that, oh, you can also list the project ID with this command. So, all right, let's try it out. I'm going to copy this and paste this in. You can also type it manually if you want to, practice memorizing it, but I'm just going to do copy and paste. So, okay, it dumped out this. This is your project ID. You can see that it matches what you have up here on the blue banner. And let's keep going. So BigQuery offers a number of sample tables that you can run queries against. In this lab, you'll run queries against the Shakespeare table, which contains an entry for every word in every play. Okay, that sounds cool. Let's copy and paste this command and see what we can do. It tells you that it can examine the schema of the Shakespeare table in the samples data set. So I'm going to copy that over. And all right, so let's take a look at the output. It tells you, oh, it's last modified at this time and date, and you can see the database schema here. So it has a word, okay, that's a string. It has the word count, integer, corpus, a string, corpus date, an integer. Okay, cool. Wow, it has this many rows. So imagine how much time it would take if you were running this on your local computer. So Google Cloud Save us here. And it explains what you're actually doing in this command, right? So BQ to invoke the BigQuery command line tool. Show is the action. Then you're listing the name of the project, public dataset.table in BigQuery that you want to see. And it explains to you what the output means here. So you can compare the example output here to the actual output that you get in your shell to see if anything's going weird. Okay, and if you're confused about what a command does, you can run BQ help query. It's kind of like how you run man help in Linux. So yeah, so it dumps out a bunch of things, and we can run a query. So it tells you, okay, to run a query, run the command BQ query with the SQL statement in here. So let's copy and paste the SQL statement that they give us, select from where, blah, 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 and let's paste it in and see what happens. So it's trying to find words that contain the substring raisin. So you can see that we have praising, there's 8 praisings, 4 praisings with a capital P, and so on. These are all strings that contain the substring raisin, but there's only 1 actual raisins. Okay, that's cool. And in this command, it explains that, oh, -- use like C SQL equals false, makes standard SQL the default query syntax. Okay, that's cool. It tells you the output you should see. And okay, here, there's a little checkpoint to check that you actually completed the tasks up there to keep track of whether you're actually doing stuff. So let's click check my progress. Cool, we got the check mark. And let's just keep going. Now we're gonna search for a word that doesn't exist. I'm gonna paste that in. And, okay, it says it's done, but it doesn't do anything. Why is that? Because that word doesn't exist. Okay, so we can check our progress again here by clicking the check my progress. You get a little green check mark. Very cool. Now let's create a new data set. Before we do that, we're going to do BQLS to list any existing data sets. And you can see that, oh, there's nothing. Okay. And it tells you that, oh, you'll be brought back to the command line since there aren't any data sets in your project yet. Okay, that makes sense. That's what we saw. So let's try the next command. BQLS, BigQuery public data, and see what we get. Oh, there are so many public data sets. Tells you the output you should see. Yeah, that kind of is what we saw. And now we can create a data set of baby names. So it tells you to use the BQ make command with the data set name that you want to create. So we're going to create a data set called baby names, and successfully created. You can see the sample output, it matches. All right, time to check our progress again. Click the button, it checks that, did you actually do your work? If you did, yay, you get the green check mark. Right, let's confirm that we actually created the data set with BQLS. And yep, it's there. All right, matches the sample output. All right, now let's upload the data set. So we need to add the data set to our project. Let's copy this. Paste it in. So it's basically getting data from the government website with a bunch of files containing baby names. Okay, and ls to see what files we added. Okay, we added a names.zip and a readme. Now let's unzip the names.zip to get our baby names. Okay, that is a bunch of text files. All right, and now we can use the bqload command to create or update the table, load the data in. And I might go too fast and see this little black text box and then paste it in. And it says command not found. All right, I did something stupid here. Let's see. Oh, it says this is the arguments that you're using in the bqload command. So you shouldn't be pasting this in. So make sure you pay attention. And all right, so this is the command that we're using. Let's paste that in. Okay, status done. Looks like we're good. Sample output, yep, it matches. All right, so we can check our progress here again. And can list the baby names. Okay, so we have table ID. And does it match the sample output? Yes, it does. Okay. And we want to see the database schema. We can paste in this command. So when you're actually doing it on your own, you can take your time and look through everything that you don't understand. Here I'm kind of going fast because it's a live demo, so you can see the schema here. And it matches the sample output. Cool. Now we can run some queries. So we can run a SQL query, paste it in. So we've seen this BQ query before. And it outputs the baby names. I think it's the most popular girl names. So we have a lot of Isabellas. All right, so now we're going to see the most unusual boy names. Paste this in. It's another SQL command. And all right, so, okay, I'm not going to embarrass myself and try to pronounce that. It matches the sample output. Cool, we've completed our task. Okay, now test your understanding. You can access BigQuery using, actually, I don't know, I'm just going to guess and pray for the best. Submit. Uh-oh, there is at least one more correct answer. All right, I'm going to try to find the answer. Let's scroll up, and it says, oh, here, you can access BigQuery by using the console web UI or the command line tool. Cool, found the answers. This feels really familiar from what I'm doing when I'm completing my homeworks. Okay, so web UI, BigQuery REST API, command line tool, submit. Yay! All right, which command line interface tool is used to interact with BigQuery service? BQ, and submit. Yay, I am done. So now it says you need to clean up the data set with this command. I'm going to paste it in. And asks you, do you actually want to do this? Yes, I want to do this. Type in Y. All right, looks like we're done. And check my progress. Oh, it doesn't look like I've completed this step yet. Interesting. Let me try again. Maybe it's just slow. Okay, did I miss something? Nope, this is the only thing in between. Oh, okay, now it's showing up. All right, so now we got down here. Congratulations, you can now use the command line with BigQuery to manipulate data. Yay. Okay, so you can read the next steps later on. And very important, right now I'm going to click End Lab. And you see a pop-up window telling you that, oh, if you end this lab, you're going to lose all your work. So if there's anything that you want to keep, make sure to take note of that. And let's click OK. We actually want to end lab so that we can move on to the next lab. And I'm going to give it 5 stars. You can leave some comments, smiley face, and you can submit. All right, so we are good with this lab. And let's go back to the presentation. So pro tip, we've talked about this. Make sure your project ID matches. And okay, timing and scoring. So as you can see previously, there is a countdown timer, and you can earn points by going faster if you are really familiar with everything. And you can redo each lab up to 5 times, and your fastest score will be used. So you can take your time and learn everything you can the first time you do it, and then like when you know your stuff, you can go through really fast for the sake of getting scores and getting a higher rank. All right, so this is about it of our BigQuery workshop, just some final tips. Now that we know how to start and end a lab and walk through the lab environment together, we're going to go through the fun scoring stuff. So as you can see, we can go to the right side here, and you can see the rank and the score of other players, like it's shown in this slide. And the score tab demonstrates how well you are doing compared to your peers. And you can also go to the leaderboard that is on the home page, and you can see how high you rank. But the leaderboard only shows the top 50 scorers plus your own score. Okay, and we walked through this before. There is this tab on the GCP console that allows you to navigate to other GCP services. So if you're interested, you can take a look at that. And there's a prompt icon to the right of the search bar to open the Cloud Shell. Make sure you remember where that is. And the menu challenges can be completed in the GUI console, so some will require the command line, but not all of them. And the icon of the box with an arrow in it at the top of the Cloud Shell pane can be used to pop the Cloud Shell out into a new window. All right, so if you ever get stuck, we have 24-hour support. You can click the chat button on the lower right corner, and you can always Google for help. You can also read the documentation. And so this is the end of the demo. So thank you all for joining us. And after the game ends, the top scorers will be contacted by email. So keep an eye on the leaderboard for the winners. All right, and I hope you liked this cloud workshop. You can follow us and sign up on our mailing list on this link here. The developer student clubs are a new club at Penn's campus, so we're going to be hosting workshops. We actually have a new workshop coming up next Monday, so make sure to search us up and follow us on Facebook to learn more about our workshops. So now I'm going to hand it back to Ryan to talk about the Google Cloud Challenge for Penn Apps.
Awesome. Thanks, Lansing, and great job with that walkthrough of the Quicklab. Definitely very informative. So yeah, just some information for the hackathon. Most of you should be from Penn Apps. So we have an API challenge for the weekend for best use of Google Cloud. So just use any Google Cloud product in your project to qualify. Each member of the winning team will receive a Cloud Patagonia backpack, a trophy, and a water bottle. And we also have a second challenge, which is the COVID-19 Hackathon Fund. So we are looking for outstanding projects that use Google Cloud to solve for COVID-19 related challenges. And selected projects will receive an exclusive invitation to apply for up to $5,000 of additional Google Cloud credits and guidance from Google developers to continue your project beyond the hackathon. And you can visit g.co/learncloud/hackathon-fund for more details. So when we say COVID-19 related projects, this covers a wide range of project types, including healthcare and life sciences, economic impact, social engagement, and education and distance learning. So for Google Cloud credits, visit this link, bit.ly/pennapps-google to request $25 in Google Cloud credits to use throughout the hackathon. And you'll end up visiting that Google Cloud Platform console, the web portal, to add them to your account, and then you should be all set with all the Google Cloud products. And if you have any questions or need help throughout the hackathon, ping us on Slack and we can help you there. But in the meantime, thanks so much for joining us for this Cloud Hero workshop. Hopefully you learned something new, and you are all Cloud Heroes in my book. And if you have any questions, feel free to add them into the chat, and we'll stick around for a bit to answer those questions. Cool. So in the meantime, I just want to talk a bit more about BigQuery. So BigQuery is our big data warehouse for storing and retrieving large amounts of data. And one thing in particular I want to point out is that BigQuery has a lot of really great public data sets. So for example, we have a lot of like COVID-19 related data sets. So things like coronavirus case counts, demographic data, mobility data, economic data, stuff like that. And we also have some other public data sets like NCAA basketball data sets. We have city-specific data sets about cities like Seattle, New York City, Los Angeles. So a lot of cool stuff in BigQuery to explore, especially with public data sets. So definitely check that out when you have a chance. Let's see, any other questions? So we have a question. Is BigQuery what you use with AutoML to make custom models? So let's see. So with BigQuery, you can store a lot of these large data sets. And I do believe that if you wanted to connect it with AutoML, that is something you can do, where you can use BigQuery as sort of the source for your AutoML machine learning model. And then you can pull in the data from BigQuery to help you train your model. But I think with AutoML, there are also a lot of other ways in which you can specify your input data, such as uploading a CSV or storing the data in cloud storage or storing it in one of Google Cloud's other databases. Great. I think, yeah, I think that should be it with the questions so far. But if you have any other questions, feel free to ping us on Slack throughout the hackathon, and we can help you there. Lanting, did you have anything else you want to add?
No, but just another plug. Make sure to check out the Developer Student Clubs at Penn. We have really exciting workshops coming up, and the next workshop is next Monday at 5 p.m. So search us up on Facebook.
Awesome. All right, thanks everyone, and thanks for coming. And yeah, have fun with the rest of the weekend.